All right, so I'm gonna share the story with you, story time real quick. So this is about a situation that went left but ended right for me. So back in the day, long time ago, I was working at Chili's as a bartender and a server, and I was working at Chick-fil-A during the day, just trying to make ends meet. I was working every shift I could because every dollar mattered, every table mattered. So I tried to stick out because I understood if I just came to a table as a bartender, as a server, and I just say, hey, what do you want? And bring the food, you get the average tip. But I understood if you wanted to make more money, you had to do something a little different. So I was heavily into personal development. So at the time I was reading How to Win Friends and Influence Others by Dale Carnegie. And I remember that he was saying that if you can remember people's name, you're going to have a greater impact and people are going to see you and view you and treat you favorably just because you remember and say their names over and over and over in a general interaction. Makes them feel special. So I was like, bet, I can do that. I started asking every table or every person what's their name, and I did my best to memorize their name. Not only that, I started memorizing people's order, especially if there's only 2 or 3 people at a table or 3 or 4 people. That's too easy. So I never wrote anything down, and I became known for this. And this worked for me 99.99% of the time, even with small parties. But this night, it was a Friday night. We were super busy. We were blowed out. And I was serving this night, and I had a party of somewhere between 10 and 12. These people sat down, and I had a hunch it was going to go left. You could just tell because they were having problems with the host and some other stuff and getting seated and being frustrated it took so long for them to be seated. As soon as they sat down, I was getting everybody's names. I was getting everybody's drink, and I was welcoming them to the restaurant. I tried to give them a different experience than anybody else had ever given them at a restaurant like this. So I was trying to stick out. I remember everybody's name. I remember everybody's order, and I put them in perfectly. That was the issue, though. One of the other servers accidentally brought somebody else's meal to the table. When they did that, this lady at the head of the table was like, I knew it. It's no way somebody's going to be able to remember all these people order and remember everybody's name. He didn't write nothing down. I knew it. The server identified right away, hey, I think I might have brought the wrong thing because it was a similar meal to somebody else's meal. So this lady made a big deal about this. Few moments later, the food starts to come out. Now the food is running behind and it's a little late because the restaurant is blowed out. There's a ton of people in there. It just take a little longer for people to get food. They were frustrated, they were aggravated already. The meals start coming to the table and every meal is perfect per name. And so this lady still wasn't having it. She was like, why are you going to bring somebody else's food to our table? I was like, ma'am, I'm just trying to explain. Listen, this was such an easy fix. Your meal came out perfect. Everybody else's meal came out perfect. It was a little late, but I don't cook the meals. She wasn't having it. We had to bring in my assistant manager. Then we brought in the GM, end up comping, which means paying for half of their meals. Then she requested that they take off the gratuity. Now, if somebody asked for the gratuity to be removed, that's either an amazing thing or it's a horrible thing. And in this situation, it was horrible. They left me a total of $8. Now, this table took up 2 hours, which means I probably could have made maybe a couple $100 in the window of the time that they were there. And I was so defeated because I needed every dime then. I was really hurting. And I was so frustrated. And as the table was leaving, the lady cusses me out. Said, I don't want your stupid A ever taking a table I come to again. And I was like, you never even come here, I don't know you. And so it got cussed out. I didn't get any money. It took up all my night or one of the larger times of night to get paid. I'm frustrated. I feel defeated. And I know I needed that money. The last lady to walk out was an older lady, and she was with an older gentleman. She said, there's a restaurant I go to for the last 10 years, and they still don't know my name. You remember my name? That made me feel good. I was like, well, glad I was able to make you feel good, man. This lady reaches in her pocket, pulls out $300 bills, said, take this. Tonight was rough. You did good. The moral of the story is, there's times you're going to learn something, you're going to apply it, and pressure is going to be applied to the thing that you learn. But it's going to dig down roots once you activate it because you've practiced it in the toughest situations and now you believe in the thing and now it can bear fruit because you now live the thing that you've learned. That was a tough night, man. I didn't see that lady blessing me like that, but I'm glad she did. If you're trying to do something and somebody's trying to discourage you like that, don't give up. Keep pushing. Remember that the goal is growth. Growth happens in the journey. Enjoy it.